Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu rasulillah, wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man sara sabilihi ila yawmiddin, amma ba'd. So as we continue discussing the book Mukhtasar Sahih Bukhari by Zabid rahimahullah, of those of the ulama who have made a summary of Sahih Bukhari. So as we had mentioned before, that you have others who have done so, but this particular Mukhtasar is somewhat of the more renowned of the Mukhtasar of Sahih Al-Bukhari. So we'll be picking up from what we had stopped and discussed the hadith that you have mentioned regarding still matters regarding Kitab al-Salat, and discussing the different abwab that relates to the ahkam of as-salat, all those ahadith that you have mentioned regarding as-salat. So before we had ended that, the author rahimahullah, that you have mentioned hadith regarding matter that relates to al-awra, regarding the clothing, the type of clothing that is allowed regarding salat. So just to complete this bab, so we discussed concerning the final hadith in this chapter, and then go into what he discussed, al-fadl, istiqbal, al-qibla. Aywa.
Bismillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Qala ma'allif, rahimahullah, chapter 21. During prostration, one should show his armpits and separate his forearms from his body. Hadith number 256, narrated by Abdullah ibn Malik ibn Buhayna radiallahu anhu. When the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam offered the salah, he used to separate his arms from his body so widely that whiteness of his armpits was visible.
Yes, the author rahimahullah, Zabid rahimahullah, in discussing of those matter that relates to ahkam al-salat, that he discussed concerning also the Prophet Islam regarding of those things regarding his salat, that he mentioned while in sujood, but also how he would place his hands, so how he would place his hands, and also in the salat, that at times that a portion of his body would be exposed, so regarding his armpit would be exposed in the salat. So they mentioned that from this hadith of Abdullah ibn Malik ibn Buhayna, that the Prophet Islam كان إذا صلى فرج بين يديه حتى يبدو بياض إبتيه. So they mentioned regarding this particular hadith is it shows regarding that the Prophet Islam, that when he would pray, that he would place his hands in sujood, so in the position of sujood, that he would place his hands away from his body in sujood. So they mentioned that that is the ideal thing to be done. The person makes sure his hands is away from his body. For the person who's the Imam and also the Munfarid. As for the person, as mentioned by Sheikh Al-Raji, then they mentioned that as for placing one's hands away from one's body, for the person who's the follower, the one who's praying with others, that the person that he places hands, that according to his ability, but without his situation would not be that of the person who's the Imam praying in front, or the one who's praying by himself. So the person will somewhat not place his hands as far away from his body due to praying with others. Then also he discussed regarding concerning this, so also the ulama discussed that it shows regarding a part exposure or partial exposure of the body while in salah. So a partial exposure of the salat in salat, where his armpit, the Prophet ﷺ, armpit ﷺ, could be seen. So it shows regarding that at times that if certain things expose, it doesn't nullify the person's salat. So the armpit being exposed or could be seen at times, that this does not invalidate the person's salat. So they mentioned regarding concerning also this act regarding tajafa fi sujood, that the hands are apart away from the body, that is something which is mustahab, more so for the person who is the Imam and the Munfarid. Then they discussed regarding, as for the case of a female that in salat, that the ulama that she tried to put her hands close to her body. They mentioned that so as not to expose herself, so if she fears exposure of herself, then she should not put her hands too far apart from her body, so as a fear of exposure. So as we know concern the female regarding her entire body is her awra. So for the female, her entire body is said to be the awra and should not be exposed. So this shows concern, the stress concern is hadith that he can somewhat complete of the discussion regarding matter that relates to one the things one should pay attention to regarding matters relating to al-awra in the salat. What are the clothing that is appropriate for salat? So that inshallah ta'ala we'll move to the next discussion, where he titled Bab فضل استقبال القبلة.
قال المؤلف رحمه الله, chapter 22, the superiority of facing the Qibla during the Salah. Hadith number 257, narrated by Anas ibn Malik radiallahu anhu. Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, whoever offers the Salah like us and faces our Qibla, i.e. the Kaaba, at Mecca during Salah, and eats our slaughtered animals, is a Muslim and is under Allah's and His Messenger's protection. So do not betray Allah Azza wa Jal by betraying those who are in His protection.
Then author Rahimullah, as we mentioned, that he titled this discussion, where now he's going to discuss of those matters regarding Al-Qibla or Istiqbal Al-Qibla. So is a person who's in Salat. So the ulama mentioned regarding concerning that Istiqbal Al-Qibla, facing the Qibla in the Salat, is of those acts that are said to be of the shurut of Salat. So of the shurut of the Salat, that a person is a must upon a person to face the Qibla, which is Al-Kaaba. Then I mentioned the hadith regarding this discussion, on the hadith of Anas bin Malik رضي عنه قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من صلى صلاتنا. So he mentioned that those who pray our salat. Then I mentioned regarding concern that of this salat, it becomes a requirement regarding the person who have made the declaration of La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. So for the ones who have made the declaration, so of the requirement of salat, the person must be a Muslim. So of the requirement regarding fulfillment or carrying out of the salat, that a person must be a Muslim, where he be a witness to La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. They mention man salla salatina, so the one who pray our salat. So it shows regarding concerning again that in salat in general, regarding that the salat of the Prophet Islam, that we try to make our salat to resemble that of the Prophet Islam as how he prayed. So regarding facing the Qibla and regarding the way in which he performed the salat, we try to ensure that our salat resembles how the Prophet Islam he prayed and those things that he had in place in fulfilling of the salat. So he mentioned man salla salatina, so the one who pray our salat. So also he discussed regarding that of the sign of a Muslim, that he prays the salat. wastaqbal qiblatana, and also second, the one who faces our qibla, the one who faces the qibla. So regarding a salat, so they mentioned regarding qiblatana in the sense of what is intended, as they put in the translation, al-Kaaba. So the person who faces the Kaaba regarding the salat. So they mentioned that the salat is mentioned, which is mentioned first, and then the qibla is mentioned. So a part of the salat is the person facing the qibla. So they mentioned regarding al-am, which is the salat in general. Then after mention of the acts of salat, which is facing of the qibla. And I mentioned regarding concern that the qibla is being mentioned here as a form of ta'zim al-qibla. So they show the importance of the qibla, and that regarding the salat, that the direction that the Muslim should face in praying the salat is ensuring that they're facing the qibla. So they mentioned, which is the Kaaba, and which is something which is of those things which is specific, of those things which is specific to the Muslim, that they're the ones who face the Kaaba or this qibla. So you find that other faiths, they may have a different qibla that they face. So as for the Muslim, that we are the only one that faces the Kaaba as our qibla. So this shows regarding the person who prays the salat as known in Islam in the direction of the qibla, then that's a sign of the person's Islam. Then I mention وَأَكَلَ ذَبِيَتَنَا, and the one also who eat from our slaughter, and the one who eats from the slaughter of the Muslim, that a person regarding that so the person who eats of the slaughter of the Muslim, where the slaughter is carried out according to Islamic legislation, so that the slaughter is done according to the requirements set in Islam. So as we had mentioned, or may have mentioned before, regarding the dhabiha, as for the slaughter that is done, that they call it concern al-dhabiha, they call it today al-halal. So regarding concern, that note that if you go to, they mention regarding that when they use the word halal regarding food, regarding meat, they mention it as something which was done halal. So they mention al-dhabihatana, regarding that the one who eats from our slaughter, which is of those things that a Muslim, that he observed the rules of al-dhabh, which is of one, the person regarding al-dhabh, of the rules that goes with it, is one, take into consideration, or that there's specific people that we are allowed to eat from their slaughter. So the Muslim, is allowed to eat of slaughter, or animals that are slaughtered. So one of those things to consider regarding the slaughter being done proper is that is looking at the person who offered the slaughter. So the person to be a Muslim or Ahl Kitab. So as for the person, al-dhabih, he must be from either Islam, of Muslim, or min Ahl Kitab, from Ahl Kitab, the people of the book. Second is looking at the animal that is being slaughtered. So the type of animal that is being slaughtered. So there's animals that we are allowed to eat. So those are the animals that they may require to be slaughtered. So the person has to ensure that we're slaughtering of those animals that it is allowed for us to eat. Then third is looking concerning the method of how the slaughter takes place. So the method as to how the person go about slaughtering the animal, where the person knows as to what to be cut. So what area of the animal to be cut, that a person does this, cut that area that is to be cut. So the method, and also of the method regarding the type of instrument that is used. So the type of instrument that is used regarding the slaughtering of the animal. So it shouldn't be something which will, so the animal, if he's shot, then that method, that instrument that is being used to slaughter the animal, becomes haram if the animal is shot, or the animal is hit with a hammer or something blunt until they die, or they are strangled or suffocated. So all these are methods which is haram. So he's taking, so the person has to be mindful or aware of the method by way of the instrument used regarding the slaughter. And also that a discussion to know of the method regarding saying Bismillah. So of those discussion regarding the ulama, that saying Bismillah when slaughtering is the must, and if Bismillah is not said, is that slaughter considered to be halal? Then there's a lengthy discussion between ulama on that particular point. But overall, those are the things that they look at. Those are the things that will be looked into regarding the slaughter being said to be halal. Then I mention فَذَلِكَ Muslim. فَذَلِكَ al-Muslim. So the person who carry out these things, then they're said to be Muslim. They're said to be Muslim. الذي له ذمة الله وذمة رسوله عليه السلام. Then also that person that is under Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's covenant. Dhimma meanings Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's ahad is covenant, and the Prophet ﷺ covenant, and also aman, and also is under the protection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then I mention فَلَا تَحْفْ وَلَا تُخْفْ نَفِرُوا اللَّهِ فِي ذِمَّتِي. Then also the person not to be treacherous regarding Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's covenant. So to fulfill things as they should. So the mention regarding concerning this hadith, that one regarding the person not to break that covenant between himself and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and act treacherous. So general overall regarding that what is mentioned here regarding that it shows regarding the importance regarding al-Qibla. So the Qibla, it has a very important place in Islam, and that's the direction that the Muslim will face in their salah. Then I mention so for a person, so these become of the sha'air, of the symbols of Islam regarding the salat, also the Qibla, and also the method and the way in which the Muslim offer their slaughter. So these are of the things that are said to be of the sha'air, of the symbols of Islam, and to be upheld, and fulfill accordingly. So I mentioned that the hadith, it shows concerning ta'zim, the act of salat, and also ta'zim istiqbal al-Qibla, that show the importance of the salah, and also the importance of facing the Qibla. And also it shows concern that of those who fulfill these acts, then they're said to be that they are under Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's protection. They are under Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's protection. And also it shows that the person not acting out of acting in difference to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's command. So it mentioned فَلَا تغفروا لا تغفر الله في ذمتي, that one is not to break Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala command. So we show that one is not to be disobedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and go about being and breaking that covenant between himself and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it also shows concerning the status of the Muslim that fulfill these things, the Muslim that fulfill these things. Then they mention Hamlat al-Umur. Then also they mention from the hadith, as mentioned by Ibn Hajar rahimullah, that also from this hadith, it shows regarding that to judge the people based upon their apparent action. So people are judged based upon their apparent action. So those things that will distinguish a Muslim and also a non-Muslim, that the one who prays, then that's a sign of, in a particular way, then a sign of Islam and the person being a Muslim. So the person pray in a particular fashion, in a particular method, then that's a sign of is Islam and treat as a Muslim. Also the person, he face the Qibla, then also as a sign regarding the Salat, is a sign of Islam, which is also something which is specific only to the Muslim today that face the Kaaba as their Qibla, and also the method they go about in slaughtering of their animals. So these written, فَذَلِكَ الْمُسْلِمِ. These are the person who fulfill these things are said to be a Muslim. So that's concerning of those matters that relates to this. They said the hadith mentioned, Man salla salatana, the one who prays our salat. Then from this it also would includes regarding iqrar bi shahadatayn. So it shows bi shahadatayn that a person who prays, then that will also that is also a confirmation that a person have uttered or testified to the shahadatayn of la ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. As the salat, it comes after shahada. The salat, it is required after the shahadatayn. So those are some of the benefits that can be taken from this particular hadith. So go to the chapter that follows. In some of the book they mention regarding concerning with this hadith. أيوة نعم تفضل.
قال المؤلف رحمه الله, chapter 23, the statement of Allah Ta'ala, بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, and do not واتخذوا من مقام إبراهيم مصلى, and take you people the maqam, place of Ibrahim, the stone of which Abraham alayhi salam stood while he was building the Kaaba as a place of salah. For some of your salah prayers, e.g. 2 raka'ah after tawaf of the Kaaba at Mecca. هذا طويل
ليست
الحديث الآن. طيب
طويل؟
نعم, the heading. أيوة. Hadith 258, narrated by Amr ibn Dinar. I asked Ibn Umar radiallahu anhuma, can a Ibn Amr or Ibn Umar?
Ibn Umar.
No.
What is that?
هذا في قوسين, narrated by Amr ibn Dinar.
طيب عن ابن عمر.
هو سأل ابن عمر.
أي تفضل.
I asked Ibn Umar radiallahu anhuma, can a person who has performed a tawaf around the Kaaba for Umrah but has not performed a sa'i, a tawaf of a Safa wa a Marwa, have a sexual relation with his wife? Ibn Umar replied, when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam reached Mecca, he performed the tawaf around the Kaaba, circumambulated it 7 times, and offered a 2 raka'ah salah prayer at the place behind the maqam, place of Ibrahim, and then performed the tawaf, sa'i of as-Safa wa al-Marwa. And verily, in Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you have a good example to follow. Then he went and put the same question to Jabir ibn Abdullah.
The hadith in my book goes up on that point.
نعم طيب.
هذا
شيء آخر.
لقد كان لكم في رسول الله أسوة حسنة. That's the end of the hadith in my book.
نعم.
No. So let's go. So he mentioned regarding concern of the next chapter. Mentioned قال تعالى واتخذوا من مقام إبراهيم مصلى. So they mentioned regarding concern this ayah as Imam Bukhari rahimahullah, as concerned the original author, who's Imam Bukhari rahimahullah. So at times regarding his tabwibat, or what they said, no, the heading for the chapter, there are times he may use hadith, at times he may use an ayah. So Imam Bukhari rahimahullah may use different ways regarding what the title that he would give to the different title headings. So at times he may use a hadith or a portion of hadith as a title heading, and also at times he may use ayah and also aqwal of the Sahaba. So he may use different methods regarding how to title each of these abwab. So I mentioned regarding concern, I mentioned an Ibn Umar radiyallahu anhuma that annahu su'ila an rajul tafa bil bayt lil umrah. So they mentioned regarding concern that no, it was put to Ibn Umar radiyallahu anhu regarding that. So it was Ibn Umar radiyallahu anhu, Umar. So they mentioned regarding concerning Ibn Umar anhuma that it was asked regarding a person. So someone, they pose a question to Ibn Umar regarding what is the ruling regarding a person who make tawaf bil bayt. وَلَمْ يَتُفْ بِالصَّفَا وَالْمَرْوَةِ, and he did not go back and forth, didn't go between al-Safa wal-Marwa. يأتي imratu, is he allowed for him to be with his wife? Then I mentioned that, so Ibn Umar, so regarding concern, I mentioned that Ibn Umar anhuma in one said, قدم النبي عليه السلام fataf بالبيت سبعا, the Prophet Islam. So Ibn Umar, in response to the person, he mentioned that the Prophet Islam, that he made a tawaf 7 times around the Kaaba. ثم صلى خلف المقام ركعتين, then after he completed his tawaf, then he went and prayed behind Maqam Ibrahim alayhi salam. Then he mentioned rakataini watafa bayna safa wal marwa. Then the Prophet Islam, after this, after he went to the mountains of Safa wal Marwa and made his sa'i and moved between both of them, then he mentioned لقد كان لكم في رسول الله أسوة حسنة. Then he mentioned that in the midst of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you have the best example. So that's concerning the response of Ibn Umar to the question that was posed to him. So from this dimension of the fawahid and what can be taken from this hadith, that they mentioned regarding concerning one, that of this hadith, of the benefit of this hadith regarding concern that, it shows the importance of the sunnah. So regarding concerning that, ittiba wal luzum sunnah, that a person try his best always to be in line with the sunnah and always try to follow the sunnah as it is to be followed, without per se cutting, trying to remove anything, or they said shortcuts. So for regarding the sunnah, to stick to the sunnah as it is outlined by the Prophet of Islam. So that's the method regarding following of the sunnah, and not trying to shortcut the sunnah. So they mentioned, that wujub ittiba Nabi al-Islam wa sunnatihi, that also it shows regarding that it is something which is lazim and it is wajib, that one should follow the Prophet of Islam as in the sunnah that he have set for us. Then they mentioned regarding concerning that from this hadith, it shows regarding and Ibn Umar anhuma annahu su'ila an rajul, that Ibn Umar, that he was questioned as I mentioned that Ibn Umar that he was questioned. So regarding that, it shows regarding that Ibn Umar was of those of the Sahaba who that people would go back to him as a person of ilm. So he was a reference, a person that the people will go back to Ibn Umar as a person of ilm, that to clarify matters regarding matters of the deen. So it shows regarding that those who stand out as being of the ulama and become renowned from being of the ulama, where people would refer back to them regarding matters that matters regarding the deen and seeking clarity on matters regarding the deen. So Ibn Umar was of those. So the extent that Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah in his book I'lam Muwaqqi'in and also Ibn Hazm, that they have mentioned regarding that among the Sahaba, that those who are known to give fatawa. So regarding concern of the ulama among the Sahaba who were known to give fatawa. So they put them that they're over 130 something Sahaba who are known to be from the ulama who have given fatwa. So they mentioned that you have mukthirin, those are said to be the ones who are the mukthirun, the ones who have given, they are known to give many fatwa among the Sahaba. Then you have mutawassitun, amongst those who give a medium or some amount of fatwa, a middle degree of were involved in giving fatwa, but not much, but gave fatwa, and also maqillin, and also those said the ones who give just a few fatwa. So they can somewhat mention regarding that of those who fall into the ones who give many fatwa or give fatwa in the first level of those are the mukthirun is Ibn Umar. So Ibn Umar, of those who were known to give fatwa, and he was placed, or is said to be of the ones who are the mukthirin, the ones who gave many fatwa, and they mentioned there are 7. So 7 of the Sahaba, they were known to be of those ones who gave many fatwa. Of those, Omar ibn Khattab. So of the 7, Omar ibn Khattab. Second, we said Ibn Umar. Third, Ali ibn Abi Talib. Ali ibn Abi Talib. Fourth, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. Fourth, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. Fifth, Aisha Aisha al-Mu'mineen. Aisha al-Mu'mineen. Sixth, Zayd ibn Thabit. Sixth, Zayd ibn Thabit. And seventh, Abdullah ibn Abbas. Abdullah ibn Abbas ta'ala anhum ajma'in. So regarding that, those 7 companions are known to be the ones that have given many fatwa.
What's the last one?
Abdullah ibn Abbas. So in brief, we have Ibn Omar, his father, Omar al-Khattab, Ali ibn Abi Talib, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, Aisha al-Mu'mineen, Zayd ibn Thabit, and Abdullah ibn Abbas. Abdullah ibn Abbas. So those are ones that are known to be of the 7 who have given many fatwa. And amongst them, we show that of those regarding that of the Khulafa, so of the Khulafa, 2 are mentioned. Which 2 from the Khulafa are mentioned in these ones? Omar and
Ali.
And Ali. Are the ones who give many fatwa. Then also they mention a second group, which are the ones who give a medium level of fatwa. So the ones who give, like I said, mutawassitun, those ones who gave a medium degree of fatwa. That they mention there are 13. Ibn Hazm, he mentioned there are 13. We just mentioned some of them, not all. Taib. So of those ones he mentioned, we just give them Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. So the first amongst them, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. Second, Salama. So in the first set, we have 1 female. So it shows that the ulama of Islam, that you find it now of the ulama of Islam, of them female, and amongst them from the Sahaba, Aisha, al-Mu'mineen, being amongst the ulama of the Sahaba, and gave fatwa. And the second level, they have Salama, another Anas bin Malik, Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, Abu Huraira, Muaz ibn Jabal, Uthman ibn Affan, Abdullah ibn Amr ibn As, and others. So they're mentioned in this group. There are 13. We just mentioned some. So the point is that in this, even the second group of the ones who are mutawassitun, who gave fatwa, a medium degree of fatwa, that they mention of them amongst the Khulafa, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. So, and also Uthman ibn Affan. So find in the first set, Umar al-Khattab and Ali ibn Abi Talib had been of those who gave many fatwa. And also in the second set of those given mutawassitun, they mention of the Khulafa, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, and also Uthman ibn Affan. And it shows regarding that one, that the Khulafa al-Rashidun, that they are the ulama of the Sahaba and the ulama of this ummah. So Omar, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq from the ulama of this ummah. With the testimony of the ulama of this ummah. So from the ulama of this ummah, I've mentioned that Abu Bakr as-Siddiq is of those people give fatwa. That should is for the people of the ulama of this ummah. And also, so we have Abu Bakr as-Siddiq that I mentioned, Umar al-Khattab, Uthman and Ali. That they are said to be of the top level of the people who gave fatwa, should they are ulama. And of that time, during their time, they are said to be of the most knowledgeable person during their time. And that with Ahlul Sunnah. That's the matter of Ahlul Sunnah regarding that the Khulafa Rashidun, that they are said to be from the ulama of this ummah and the most knowledgeable person during their times. So that's concerning that matter regarding this matter. So as we said, that goes back to I mentioned annahu su'ila, that posing question to people. So I said no, in these matters they asked Ibn Umar, who said of the ulama of the Sahaba. From the kibar ulama of the Sahaba, that is important regarding being able to identify, as they mentioned, those people regarding who are qualified, that we can refer back to them regarding fatwa. So regarding matters, so we'll find that at times that we'll need to go back to people of ilm in asking and seeking clarity on certain matters. Of the thing for the Muslim is being able to identify who are those people that we refer back to on certain matters. So the ulama, you have that books that have been written specifically on that topic regarding matters regarding fatwa and they will discuss concerning Ahkam al-Fatawa and the likes, that they will discuss concerning what are the characteristics of the Mufti, what are the adab of the Mufti, what are the sifat of the Mufti. So they go through those steps. So they can somewhat go through those steps regarding being able one to identify what are the qualifications the Mufti should have, and that alim who gives fatwa, what is the adab that he should uphold, that he should follow. So those things will be discussed. So it's not in every time you have people who they become renowned regarding giving fatwa. So in every generation that the people of fatwa, you usually find that a group that stands out, and you find that most Muslims will be aware of them to some degree. So I have a question that we want to listen to the ad that we mentioned regarding the people of ilm, that they have different depending on different science, that the people of that knowledge, that they have different names that are given to the people of those science. So for example, the people of hadith, what they refer to as muhaddith. So the people who specialize in hadith, they are muhaddith. Nam. And not everyone, that you have muhaddith, or a person that may have a liking, for example, a person, some person that he may have a degree in that science or in that science, but he's not said to be the cream of the crop of that science. With me? Mm-hmm. So a person may have degree, he has a PhD and the likes, but still he's not said to be of the top of the line in that particular science. But he have some, this is not ishtigal bil hadith, he has some knowledge of that science. So in general, you have the people who specialize in hadith, muhaddith, the one who specialize in fiqh, they refer to as what? A faqih. And if a person can combine between those two, hadith and fiqh, then they are the cream of the crop. You find a person, alim, who's very strong in hadith, in the sense that he himself is able to pass judgment on hadith. And then second, he has the qawaid and also he discussed concerning that he has the fiqh of the hadith and the fiqh in general, then that's the cream of the crop. You will not find anyone that is more proficient than that person. So you find that those ones there, they are the rare ones, that they are good, strong in hadith, in a sense specialized in hadith, and also specialize in fiqh. Then we have the ones who specialize in the Quran. They are referred to as what? Quran, but we have tafsir. Mufassir. Mufassir. That so the Mufassir, that they're the ones who give explanation of the Quran. Then you have those who specialize in usul al-fiqh and qawaid al-fiqh. They are referred to as what? Usuli. Nam. Rare at times you find one alim that may have all those science on the one belt. He specializes in most of those things. Rarely you find those cases. So with us about a person who specializes in hadith and also fiqh, then that's one. Then said no. Then that's an exceptional case. That's exceptional cases. Then question: the one who specializes in aqidah, what is referred to as?
Imam.
That's the thing. Of all the others, but the one who specializes in aqidah / tawheed, what is referred to as science? So I said the person of specialist in that field of science, what is referred to as? So that nothing come to my mind as yet. To say that the person who specializes, that person specializes in aqidah, what? ليس مجدد. ليس مجدد. So said no, says so that everything Quran, Mufassir, Hadith, Muhaddith, Fiqh, Faqih, Usul, Usuli. Okay, in matters regarding Aqidah, what's that specialist referred to as?
ممكن توحيدي موحد ممكن موحد.
That is something. So something is that nothing comes to my mind regarding what would that person be, what title that person will be referred to as. متخصص بعلم التوحيد, yes, But what's the one word that can be used? What's a single word that can be used? So something to look into. Something to look into. So say, well, all those science is knowing the people who specialize in those science and at time referring back to them. And in every generation is knowing the people who specialize in those fields. So you can refer back to them based upon their area of specialization. Then also mention regarding concern of the person said to be the mufti, that they have certain criteria. They have certain criteria regarding the mufti. That Ibn Sam'ani was a book, Qawati Adillah. Ibn Sam'ani has a book, Qawati Adillah. So you have certain books that are said to be of, you have one that mentioned about, of the top, the main 7 or 9 books in Usul al-Fiqh, that Ibn Sam'ani, one of his books, he fall into that. Qawati Adillah, it fall into one of those main books in Usul al-Fiqh. They mentioned that Ibn Sam'ani, he mentioned regarding al-Mufti. فقال من استكمل فيه ثلاثة شرائط, that the one who fulfill 3 conditions regarding the mufti, he should fulfill 3 conditions. One, he mentioned al-ijtihad, that regarding his level of knowledge, that is have reached the level of is a mujtahid in his field. So he's a level of a mujtahid in his field. That second, adala, that alim, a mufti, should be a person of adala, is known for his uprightness in his deen. So he's known for his uprightness, so adala, by way of his uprightness in his deen. So, what is that adala is in English? And that adala is not per se trustworthiness. Regarding concern, adala is regarding that al-hadith, they see not even a balance. Adala regarding the person level of his commitment to Islam. Is istiqamah. So adala, they mention, so the person that know that, so adala is regarding the person level of commitment to Islam and his level of practice of Islam. So they mention, so that's one they mentioned, al-ijtihad, adala, so the person that the alim should be a person who's upright upon his Islam. Now he should be a person who's upright upon his Islam. Then they mention وَكَفْأً تَرْخِيص وَالتَّسَاهُلِ, and also that he tries not to avoid being too easygoing in his fatwa. So not per se trying to be too easygoing in his fatwa. So being a person said to be mutasahil, a person said to be lenient, very lenient. So not to be too lenient regarding his fatwa, and also not to be too mutashaddid, as they also discuss. So is striking that balance. So he mentioned in general the mufti of those things, for him to kind of somewhat to fulfill those 3 criteria in general: ijtihad, adala, wa kaf and tarkhis wa tasahul. So he is a person that he have reached his level of ijtihad, his knowledge level is to that level of ijtihad. Also is adala, upright, and also that not known that he avoids regarding being too lenient. That is not known for his leniency. So that's concern of those things to take in consideration regarding the person of mufti, and all those things go into detail. So from the hadith that I mentioned, that so Ibn Omar radhiyallahu, when he gave a response to the person mentioned, ayati imratuhu, is the person then that he performed umrah, he made tawaf around al-bayt, mentioned bil-bayt al-kaaba, walam yatuf bayna as-safa wal-marwa, but a person did not make his sahi between safa and marwa. They asked now a person, is this person able to can, they said no, yahti ila that tahleel, where the person now can come out of the state of ihram. So the person who's performing umrah, that in the state of ihram, that he has to go, that he has certain restrictions on him. Now, in the state of ihram, there are certain restrictions on the person in that state, whether by way of hajj, if performing hajj or umrah. So what a person in state of ihram, that the person has certain restrictions, meaning that he's not allowed to do certain things. So he cannot be with his wife, meaning he cannot intimacy be with his wife while in the state of ihram. So the person after performing at-tawaf bil-bayt, while performing umrah, is he allowed without yet performing a sa'i between as-safa wal-marwa, is he allowed to be with his wife? That's the question they're asking. So Ibn Omar mentioned that given to the Prophet Islam, طاف بالبيت سبع. That means the Prophet ﷺ made سبع tawaf, walking around the Bayt, which is Al-Kaaba. وصلى خلف المقام ركعتين. Then the Prophet ﷺ went and prayed ركعتين behind Al-Maqam. وطاف, I mentioned طاف, the something I mentioned السعي. وطاف بين الصفا والمروة. Then he made the walk between Safa wal Marwa. Then I mentioned, so that's the person that is still in a state of ihram until he has complied with those things. And that matter will be discussed further in the bab of Umrah or the bab of Al-Hajj. Regarding concern the person even performing Umrah, that the person, he come out of that state after he has to be discussed when he cuts his hair. So then I mentioned, لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ في رسول الله أسوة حسنة. In the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you have the best example. So it shows regarding that from Ibn Omar that the measuring stick regarding what is correct and what is not correct regarding Al-Islam, it goes back to the Prophet Al-Islam. So he becomes the scale. So the Prophet Al-Islam is the mizan, is the scale regarding to judge if something is correct or incorrect based upon what is in line with what the Prophet Al-Islam did or did not do. So the Prophet Islam regarding to measure anyone regarding their actions, their conduct, their belief, their aqwal, that the scale to measure thing is not us, not this person, not that person, but the person to use as a scale. As Ibn Omar, he didn't mention his father, he didn't mention Abu Bakr as-Siddiq and all of those. He mentioned the Prophet Islam. So the scale for everything go back to the Prophet Islam regarding those things, especially those things that he addressed. With the Prophet Islam address or carried out those things. That I mentioned regarding that of this, it shows regarding that for Umrah, that of those things required, Tawaf bil Bayt. And I mentioned Sab'a, that do so 7 times. Also of the acts of Umrah, Salat, praying behind Maqam Ibrahim, Rakatain. Then also Al-Sa'i between Al-Safa wal Marwa. All these are of the acts of Umrah. That's concerning that hadith. أيوة.
قال المؤلف رحمه الله hadith number 259 narrated by narrated by Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma. When the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam entered the Kaaba, he invoked Allah in each and every side of it and did not offer the salah until he came out of it, and offered 2 raka'ah prayer facing the Kaaba and said, "This is the Qibla."
So I mentioned in that same chapter regarding that within this chapter, I mentioned the second hadith, which is the hadith of Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, where he mentioned قال لما دخل النبي عليه السلام البيت دها في ناحيته كلها ولم يصلي حتى خرج منها فلما خرج ركع ركعتين في قبل القبلة قبل الكعبة وقال هذه القبلة الحديث. So I mentioned regarding concerning of those hadith, they mentioned the hadith of Ibn Abbas radiallahu, where he can also discuss concerning of those matters regarding that relates to praying behind Maqam Ibrahim. So these hadith is regarding emphasizing the importance or clarifying that of those things that is a part of the acts of Hajj and Umrah or Tawaf is the person praying behind Maqam Ibrahim. So he mentioned regarding the Prophet Islam and matter regarding the Qibla. So he mentioned the hadith of Ibn Umar, the hadith of Ibn Abbas, where he mentioned that the Prophet Islam when he entered the house. So it shows regarding the permissibility of entering the Kaaba. So it shows the permissibility of entering the Kaaba. So you find that at times that even today that people are allowed to enter the Kaaba. When you went on your thing, they allow you?
No.
Okay. So sometimes they may allow people to enter the Kaaba. So you have at certain time that they allow people to enter the Kaaba. So there's something which is allowed. There's something which is allowed and permissible. That one of the Mashaykh that he mentioned regarding that, because he's somewhat well known. The Shaykh is well known that he and his entourage or those with him, they went for Hajj or they went for Umrah. That they went and that one of the members of that Shaykh party was contacted by those by someone letting them know that because the Shaykh that he's well known that they can facilitate for the Shaykh and his party to go and either was it to enter the Kaaba or not enter the Kaaba, but for them to go to the black stone, you understand, to kind of somewhat allow them to get easy access to go and kiss the black stone. Naam? So sometimes that can be difficult. So the Sheikh, so the kind of somewhat a form of trying to honor that Sheikh. Naam? And to show respect to the Sheikh, they said, no, that we can organize for you and your entourage, or those with you, for you all to go and to go to the to the black stone and kiss the black stone with ease. Naam? So the Sheikh said, they put it to the said that want someone from the party of the Sheikh, not the Sheikh directly. So they were speaking to someone who was with the Sheikh. Naam? So then the person to put to the person, okay, no problem, inshallah ta'ala, I'll get back to you, but I have to run it by the Sheikh first, who's the main person. So now put it to the Sheikh. So when this person put it to the Sheikh, one of those within his party put it to the Sheikh and mentioned that I've been contacted by someone who's in charge, that they can facilitate and arrange for us to kiss the black stone. Naam. So the Sheikh response was that the Sheikh said that I'm one of the Muslim. I'm one of the Muslim, like ordinary Muslim. Naam. And I prefer not to get any type of special treatment. Because one, he said that he's telling that to his companion and those, that one, that the person is Allah khair for, offering this, but was that we declined, type of thing. I would see ourselves as one of the Muslim, and to be treated like all of the Muslims. That's one. Then he mentioned, the Sheikh response also mentioned that of the things that he doesn't want also of the people, because he's known to see me getting this type of treatment, and they think that I'm like, I'm working for, or too close to the state. That you're getting preference treatment. But the people that see that that this type of treatment is usually given to people like the Omar, the head of states, and people of the governors and ministers. You understand? So you're giving me this. Then when other people might see me as, you understand, that put me in that category of those people. You understand? Who get kind of somewhat some form of special treatment. So Jazallah khair, I just want to be treated as, I come here simple. I want us to continue in this fashion that I came without per se any form of special treatment. Naam. So there's sometimes for a person said that a general lesson that concerns the talib al-ilm at time, you understand that to certain thing may be a privilege, but sometimes it may give certain impression in the mind of the people as how they might perceive you. Naam, they might perceive you a certain way to know that. So sometimes you have to, as they mentioned that Sheikh Al-Bani used to mention, or the Sheikh from Ansar al-Sunnah in Egypt, they used to say that we are du'at to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are not politicians. So we don't get involved in the politics of today. Our thing is just to teach the people Islam and clarify to them Islam. But as for the politics of today, that's not our remit. We're not into that that area of practice. So our thing is to concentrate regarding teaching the people the deen, bring to them in a Quran, and encouraging good and forbidding evil, but without per se becoming too involved into the politics of today. Then I mentioned regarding, so that's another side matter. Then regarding concerning that, but he showed the permissibility of entering the house. He showed regarding the entering of the Bayt, that and this hadith of Ibn Abbas anhuma, he mentioned that the Prophet that he supplicated fi nawahi, that he supplicated inside the house at different position inside the Kaaba. So the Bayt here, Al-Kaaba. So Al-Bayt, Al-Kaaba. Then it mentioned that he supplicated at different areas of the Kaaba. وَلَمْ يُصَلِّي حَتَّى خَرَجَ مِنْ. They mentioned regarding that some narration that Ibn Abbas is speaking based upon how he understood things and what he saw. That he said the Prophet entered, but as we mentioned, وَلَمْ يُصَلِّي حَتَّى خَرَجَ مِنْ. That the Prophet when he entered, he did not pray. Then I mentioned other narration, as mentioned by the other narration mentioned the Prophet, all that he prayed inside. So you have some narration I mentioned the Prophet that he prayed inside the Kaaba. So also with but this narration that he's speaking based upon what he saw. He's speaking based upon what he saw. فَلَمَّا خَرَجَ then he mentioned that also the Prophet that so they mentioned هَذِهِ al-Qibla. This is the Qibla. This is the Qibla, meaning that this is our Qibla. This is the Kaaba. This is the the Kaaba, showing somewhat reverence to the Kaaba. I will mention that the Kaaba is only a Qibla for Salah. So it's not the building itself, it's not something that is worshipped, but is mainly concerned, that it says regarding concerning the Kaaba is a building regarding, yes, it has some importance, but not something, an object of worship. But it can unify the Muslim by way of, for the Salat, that we all face that direction. We all face the direction of the Kaaba. They mentioned from the Hadith, they show the person is inside the Kaaba. Where does he pray? What's his Qibla? His direction. He prays in any direction. So if you're inside the building, you can pray in any direction. There's no Qibla for the person regarding, you have to face this direction. He prays in any direction. So the person who's inside the building of the Kaaba, he can pray in any direction. As for the person who's outside and the building is in his sight, in front of him, then he has to ensure that he make eye contact, or it is facing him. He's facing the Kaaba. Another person who is further away, then he faces the masjid, for those who are in the local area. Then for those who are outside, then they start to face that city. They start to face that city, or next face that country or that direction, the further we go. So to mention that the hadith is shown generally regarding that, entering the Kaaba, dua inside the Kaaba, and / salat also allowed inside the Kaaba, and also it's the direction that we face when we're outside the Kaaba. When we're outside the building itself, then we have to ensure that we have to face the Kaaba in our salat. So these are of the benefit that are mentioned regarding this particular hadith. With this, inshallah ta'ala, we'll end here and continue next week. Wabillahi ta'ala.